Did you know that some Canadian homeowners are seeing their property taxes jump by over 25%, even if their homes haven't changed at all? And in some cities, new rules mean you could be taxed more just for leaving your house empty. Welcome to 2026, where owning a home in Canada has become a lot more complicated and a lot more expensive. This year, provinces and cities across the country have rolled out a wave of property tax changes that could quietly cost homeowners hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Some rules target vacation homes, others hit people working from home, and a few sound helpful until you read the fine print. The worst part? Many Canadians don't even realize what's coming until the bill shows up. But don't worry, because in this video, we're breaking down the 10 biggest property tax changes you need to know in 2026. Some of them might surprise you, and one or two, they might just save you money. Number 1. Assessment cycles are changing, and you might be hit sooner than you think. For years, most Canadian homeowners got used to property assessments happening every 4 years. It felt predictable, manageable, even easy to ignore. But in 2026, that old comfort zone is gone. Several provinces, including Ontario and British Columbia, are now moving towards shorter and more frequent assessment cycles, some as quick as every 2 years. Why is this a big deal? Because your property tax bill is based directly on your assessed value. And when assessments happen more often, it means your home's value is being recalculated at today's market prices. With real estate prices still fluctuating wildly in many areas, that can spell sudden tax increases, even if you haven't made a single upgrade to your home. Let's break it down. Say your home was assessed at $600,000 in 2022, but your local market has jumped since then. If assessments now happen every 2 years, your 2024 or 2026 assessment might land at $750,000, pushing your property taxes up without warning. And with the new cycles, those increases are coming around faster than before. What can you do about it? First, mark your municipal assessment schedule. Don't wait for surprises. Second, when your notice arrives, review the assessment carefully. If the valuation feels off, gather evidence. Recent home sales in your neighborhood, professional appraisals, or photos of needed repairs, and prepare to file an appeal. In some cases, homeowners have managed to lower their assessed value and save thousands in the long run. Number 2. Market value now matters more than ever. In 2026, one of the most game-changing shifts in Canadian property taxes is how market value is now being used more aggressively in assessments. That means your home's real-time worth, based on what similar houses are selling for in your area, can now directly impact how much tax you pay, more than ever before. So what changed? Previously, many municipalities applied discounted or average values when calculating assessments, allowing for a bit of breathing room during hot markets. But this year, several provinces, notably Ontario, British Columbia, and Quebec, have adopted updated policies that aim to match assessments closer to current market trends. In short, if your neighborhood boomed during the last few years, so will your tax bill. Imagine this. A modest bungalow on your street sold for $850,000 last month. Even if your home isn't identical, it could influence your new valuation. And unlike before, these values are being factored in faster and more precisely, with municipalities using AI-powered tools to gather real-time sales data and apply it across neighborhoods. Here's what you can do. Stay on top of recent home sales in your area. If a nearby home sells for an inflated price due to renovations or a bidding war, it might unfairly spike your assessed value. In that case, be prepared to file a property tax appeal with supporting data that shows your home isn't worth the same. Also, don't wait until tax season to act. Many cities allow you to request a review or submit corrections shortly after the assessment is issued. Knowing your home's realistic market value and being ready to challenge unfair spikes can help you avoid overpaying for years to come. Number 3. Green upgrades could save you big on property taxes. Here's some good news. Going green could help lower your property tax bill in 2026. Across Canada, multiple provinces and municipalities are now offering tax incentives, exemptions, and rebates for homeowners who invest in eco-friendly home upgrades. Yes, that solar panel you've been thinking about, it might just pay for itself sooner than you think. In cities like Toronto, Vancouver, and Edmonton, new policies are rewarding homeowners who make their properties more energy efficient. These include installing solar panels, energy-efficient windows, heat pumps, upgraded insulation, and smart thermostats. Why? Because governments are under pressure to meet climate goals, and they're using tax tools to encourage greener living. Let's say you install a solar energy system in your home. In some regions, this can trigger a temporary assessment freeze, meaning your home's taxable value won't increase, even though its market value might rise. Other programs offer direct rebates or property tax credits, cutting down what you owe each year. But here's the catch. Many of these programs aren't automatic. You'll usually need to apply with documentation, including receipts, contractor details, and before and after photos. If you don't file on time or miss a deadline, you could lose the benefit entirely. So here's your move. Before starting any renovation, check your local municipality's website for 2026 green tax incentives. Create a folder to track invoices, permits, and product certifications. When the upgrades are done, submit your claim as soon as possible. Some programs have limited funding and work on a first-come, first-served basis. In a world where costs are rising, these green upgrades offer a rare win-win: better comfort, higher efficiency, and real savings on your property taxes. Number 4. Vacancy taxes are expanding, even to smaller cities. You might think vacancy taxes only apply to wealthy investors leaving downtown condos empty, but in 2026, that's no longer the case. More and more mid-sized cities and suburban areas across Canada are introducing vacancy taxes, and if you're not living in your property full-time, you could be the next one hit. Originally launched in Vancouver, vacancy taxes were designed to cool the housing market by discouraging owners from keeping homes empty. Now, cities like Halifax, Calgary, and even smaller municipalities in Ontario and BC are following suit, and the penalties aren't small. Some areas charge 1 to 3% of your property's assessed value annually if it's deemed vacant. What qualifies as vacant? It varies by city, but generally, if a property is unoccupied for more than 6 months a year and isn't rented or listed for sale, it could fall under this tax. Even secondary homes and cottages are under scrutiny, especially if they're located in high-demand regions. Here's where it gets tricky. Some cities now require a declaration every year to prove occupancy. If you forget or fail to respond, your home might automatically be classified as vacant and taxed accordingly. And yes, that includes inherited homes, secondary residences, or vacation properties. What should you do? First, check if your municipality has introduced a vacancy tax for 2026. Then, keep clear documentation of occupancy, like utility bills, rental agreements, or travel logs. If your home is empty for personal reasons, look into temporary exemptions for renovations, illness, or estate matters. With housing affordability under the microscope, governments are getting stricter about underused homes. If your property isn't occupied full-time, make sure you're not unknowingly on the hook for thousands in extra taxes. Number 5. Primary residence declarations are now mandatory in more places. Think your home is your primary residence? You still might need to officially declare it, or risk losing tax benefits and even facing penalties. In 2026, more provinces and municipalities are rolling out mandatory declaration requirements for homeowners, and skipping this small step could cost you big. Cities like Vancouver, Toronto, and Ottawa already require homeowners to submit an annual primary residence declaration, and now other regions are joining in. This means that every year, homeowners must confirm whether their property is their main place of residence, a rental, or vacant. Why? Because property tax systems are being updated to crack down on tax fraud, underreporting, and foreign ownership loopholes. Here's the risk. If you forget to declare or miss the deadline, your home might be reclassified automatically as a secondary or vacant property, triggering higher tax rates, loss of exemptions, or even penalty fines. It doesn't matter if you live there full time, the system won't assume anything anymore. And this isn't just a big city issue. Smaller towns, especially those near vacation hotspots or commuter zones, are starting to introduce similar rules to protect local housing stock and generate extra revenue. What can you do? Stay informed. As a homeowner, you should receive a notice or email reminder from your local government, but don't rely on it. Set a calendar reminder each year to log into your municipal portal and complete the declaration. It usually takes just a few minutes, but missing it could cost you hundreds or more. As property tax rules tighten in 2026, even something as simple as not clicking a checkbox online could become an expensive mistake. So stay sharp and stay on top of your declarations. We put a lot of time and research into making these videos easy to understand, so if this helped, drop a comment below and tell us which change surprised you the most. And hey, subscribing takes just one click, but it means the world to us and helps us keep bringing you valuable content every week. Number 6. Rural and urban tax shifts are reshaping the map. If you live in a rural area and thought your property taxes were safe from major changes, 2026 might surprise you. Across several provinces, there's a growing movement to rebalance tax rates between rural and urban communities. The result? Some homeowners in small towns and rural zones are seeing noticeable increases in their property tax bills. What's driving this change? Simply put, governments are trying to modernize tax formulas to reflect today's infrastructure costs. With more people moving to rural areas, especially since the work-from-home boom, municipalities are facing higher demands for services like road maintenance, emergency response, and internet upgrades. And to fund those services, local governments are adjusting mill rates, sometimes raising them in rural zones that used to pay far less in cities. At the same time, some urban centers are seeing slight tax relief in select neighborhoods, especially where development is booming or where densification helps spread the tax load. It's a redistribution strategy, but it's catching many rural homeowners off guard. Let's say you live just outside a major city, in a growing rural township. Even if your home hasn't changed, your tax bill might jump 5 to 10% this year simply due to policy rebalancing. These aren't minor tweaks, they're long-term shifts aimed at funding regional growth fairly. What can you do? Start by checking your municipality's 2026 budget announcements. If you see a mill rate increase, dig into where those funds are going. You may also want to participate in local budget consultations. Many towns now offer virtual sessions where residents can voice concerns. Whether you live on a quiet back road or a bustling city block, tax fairness is changing, and understanding your region's direction is key to planning ahead. Number 7. Short-term rentals are facing higher property taxes. If you've been making extra income by listing your property on Airbnb, Vrbo, or other short-term rental platforms, there's something important you need to know. In 2026, more municipalities are cracking down, and your short-term rental could now be taxed like a business, not a home. This shift is already underway in popular tourist cities like Victoria, Kelowna, Montreal, and Niagara Falls, and it's spreading fast. Under the new rules, short-term rentals, especially entire units that aren't your primary residence, may be reclassified as commercial properties. That means significantly higher property tax rates, extra licensing fees, and stricter zoning requirements. Why is this happening? Local governments are under pressure to free up housing for long-term residents. They're seeing short-term rentals as a key contributor to rising rents and housing shortages. By raising taxes and tightening regulations, they aim to make short-term renting less attractive and to recapture lost revenue from this growing industry. For homeowners, this could mean losing residential tax privileges, facing year-round inspections, or even being banned from operating unless you meet new criteria. Some cities are requiring proof of principal residency, while others limit the number of rental days per year. What should you do? First, check your municipality's 2026 rules on short-term rentals. If your unit is now considered commercial, you'll need to budget for higher taxes and possibly update your insurance. Second, consider whether switching to long-term rental or owner occupancy is a better financial move. This isn't just a side hustle anymore. It's regulated real estate, and the consequences for non-compliance are growing. If your short-term rental income has been helping you cover your mortgage, don't wait until you get hit with a new tax bill to make a plan. Number 8. Your home office might now affect your property tax. Working from home used to be a lifestyle perk, but in 2026, it could come with a hidden cost, a higher property tax bill. That's right, if you're using a dedicated space in your home to run a business, freelance, or even conduct regular remote work, your property could be partially reassessed for commercial use. This trend is growing in provinces like British Columbia, Alberta, and Ontario, where tax authorities are taking a closer look at how residential properties are being used. If a room or section of your home is being used exclusively for business purposes, it may no longer be considered 100% residential. That small office, studio, or salon space, it could shift your home into a mixed-use category, triggering different tax calculations. For example, if you've converted your garage into a photography studio or regularly see clients in your basement office, assessors might classify that portion as commercial square footage. This doesn't always mean a full commercial tax rate, but it can lead to higher taxes, loss of certain residential exemptions, or even new inspection requirements. What can you do about it? First, review how your home-based business is registered. If it's listed with your home address and involves customer visits or signage, it may already be flagged for reassessment. Second, reach out to your local tax authority to understand their criteria for mixed-use spaces. And here's a pro tip. If you only use your space occasionally or it's not physically separated from your living area, you may be able to argue for full residential status. But it's always better to know the rules before the tax bill arrives. Number 9. Tax credit thresholds have changed. You might now qualify. If you've checked before and thought, I don't qualify for any property tax relief, you might want to check again. In 2026, several provinces and municipalities have raised income thresholds for popular property tax credits, grants, and deferrals, especially for seniors, low to moderate income families, and people with disabilities. The idea behind this shift is simple. With inflation, rising property values, and higher living costs, governments are trying to broaden access to tax relief. That means you may now be eligible, even if you didn't meet the cutoff last year. For example, in Ontario, the Senior Homeowners Property Tax Grant has raised its income ceiling. In British Columbia, the Homeowner Grant has been updated to reflect changing property values in both urban and rural areas. Let's break this down. If your household income has stayed the same or even increased slightly, you could still fall within the new range. That means you might now qualify for rebates of $500, $1,000, or more, depending on where you live. Some programs even offer property tax deferrals, allowing qualified homeowners to delay payments until the home is sold, reducing financial stress in the short term. Here's what to do. Don't assume you're ineligible. Visit your provincial or municipal government's website and look up the latest 2026 eligibility criteria. Many now offer simple online calculators to check if you qualify. And if you're a caregiver or a co-owner with a senior, you might be able to apply on their behalf. This change is one of the most overlooked updates in 2026, but also one of the most valuable. A few minutes of checking could result in real savings you didn't know you were entitled to. Number 10. The appeals process has changed, and the clock is ticking. If you've ever thought about challenging your property tax assessment, 2026 is not the year to procrastinate. This year, many provinces and cities have revamped their property tax appeals process, making it faster, more digital, and far less forgiving when it comes to deadlines. In the past, homeowners often had weeks or even months to review their assessments and file an appeal. But with new automated systems in place, some jurisdictions are now giving you as little as 21 to 30 days to respond once your notice is issued. Miss that window and you're stuck with the assessed value, no exceptions. The good news, the process is becoming more accessible online. Municipalities like Toronto, Calgary, and Winnipeg have introduced digital portals where you can submit evidence, track your appeal status, and communicate with officials, all without stepping into a government office. But that also means there's no excuse for missing the deadline. Let's say your home was assessed at $850,000, but recent sales suggest it should be closer to $775,000. That $75,000 difference could mean hundreds more in taxes every year. Filing a timely, well-prepared appeal could save you that money, but it requires organized documentation, recent sales data, photos of your property's condition, professional appraisals, or anything that supports your case. Here's what to do. As soon as your assessment notice arrives, mark the deadline and gather your paperwork. If needed, consult a property tax consultant or real estate agent to help build your appeal. The faster you act, the better your chances of a fair outcome. In 2026, the system might be faster, but it's also less forgiving. If something doesn't look right, speak up before the window slams shut. So there you have it. 10 crucial property tax changes every Canadian homeowner needs to know in 2026. From assessment cycle updates and market value recalculations to the expansion of vacancy taxes, tougher rules for short-term rentals, and the growing impact of home-based businesses, these changes are reshaping how your home is taxed, even if nothing about your home has changed. The bottom line? These aren't just small technical updates. They can directly affect your monthly budget, your long-term financial planning, and even your ability to sell or rent your property. Whether you're a retiree trying to keep costs down, a first-time buyer learning the ropes, or a remote worker using part of your home for business, staying informed about these tax rules is more important than ever. Remember, the best way to avoid surprise bills is to stay proactive. Don't wait until the tax notice hits your mailbox. Take time to understand your local rules, check your eligibility for credits or exemptions, and be ready to file appeals if needed. A little effort now can save you thousands over the coming years. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss important updates that could impact your wallet. Drop a comment below. Let us know what changes are happening in your city, or if you've already felt the impact of these new tax rules. And if you're serious about protecting your money, check out our next video, 5 legal tax deductions Canadian homeowners miss every year. It's packed with smart strategies to save even more in 2026. Thanks for watching, and stay ahead of the curve.